so I can see what you're doing.
Yeah, can someone check the levels and make sure that...
Once the stream starts, I will.
Hello,
The
folks.
graphics are tightened on level 3.
That's good, I'm glad.
Are they tightened or are they
So, hey.
need tightening?
We're
We're
back.
back. It's on the Steak After Dark.
My favorite stream, updating.
My favorite time of day, after dark.
I'm Eric Allen. We got Joe Drilling. Kurt Adam.
That's right,
Mike
that's me.
Ailes. Joe is
Yeah.
going to stream a little Resident Evil 7. I think this is just the
Yep.
beginning of the game. So,
It's going to be literally the beginning. I'm playing this. I'm starting a second playthrough on the Madhouse difficulty.
It's a
And I'm going to be a little handicapped because I can't hear the game. Because if I turn it up, it'll bleed over and like come through my mic and echo in a weird way, and I don't
Okay.
want that.
You're not wearing headphones, buddy?
I'm wearing headphones, but they're plugged into my computer, not my PlayStation.
Oh, I see. I kind of do this weird like headphone thing sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So, this is Resident Evil 7. If you haven't seen it or don't know anything about it yet, this is the intro with a kind of like bad Evanescence wannabe song that shows a lot of imagery that has really very little to do with the game. But so I beat the game on the normal difficulty.
I'm going to say something just so I
And
can check my own levels on the stream. But continue speaking, Joe.
I've been
Sounds
listening
good.
and everything seems okay so far.
Okay.
The game's maybe a little quiet,
Okay.
but otherwise we're fine.
So I don't know if I'm just starting. I think if I
should put
just
the
start a new
subtitles
game-
on,
Yep, there we
Joe.
go.
Yes, you should definitely turn subtitles on.
Okay, let me make sure options.
We're professionals. We've been doing this every week for like 2 years.
To be fair, it's usually me doing
True
it.
story.
And usually this stuff is all a lot
Subtitles are off.
easier
Now
on
the
PC
subtitles
as
are on.
opposed to
Yes,
when
I'm
you're
sure.
running it through capture
The
software.
Elgato or what have
Yeah.
you.
Which is why I only stream PC
Um,
games, because it's so much easier.
Not because you're a PC
So
elitist.
Madhouse, if you're looking at the stream right now, you can see that it says Madhouse requires you to have cassette tapes to save. So in the regular mode in this game, you have infinite saves, which is sort of un-Resident Evil. But in the Madhouse difficulty, they went old school, and so you use cassette decks to save your game in this game instead of typewriters. But
Really
so-
upgraded that technology.
Did you need ink ribbons for Resident Evil 4 and 5? To save?
4, I believe
5
so.
didn't.
5, I
say
don't
no in
remember. I
5.
don't think so.
Yeah.
But I think 4 you still did. I've beaten that game like a dozen times. You
Not
think
that I
remember,
recall in
but
5.
5, I want maybe in OG versions of 4, but not in the later versions. I don't actually remember.
I played through it on GameCube, PS2, and Wii. Those are the 3
I
versions
don't think
I've
so.
played.
Actually, I'm gonna say maybe you didn't. The PC version. I just played a little
Maybe
of the
not.
PC version, and I didn't need an ink ribbon to save in that. But you still save it.
The
Okay.
Twitch thing still says,
You still
Tom
still
Mason's
save
Dinosaurs
with the
for Hire.
typewriter.
I guess I can change
which
that.
is
Oh, we
very
didn't
funny
update
when
that.
the
Yeah,
woman
change
is
that.
leaning into the.
She's hiring the dinosaurs.
Right.
Yep. This is the prostitute version
So-
of the Dinosaurs for Hire.
You play.
I changed it to
as
the official
Ethan
title
Winters.
of this game, which is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, which fucking
Right.
Yes, true.
whatever.
Or if you're in Japan, it's
Biohazard
Biohazard
7,
7 Resident
Tom
Evil.
Mason's
Exactly.
Resident Evil.
Tom Mason's Resident Evils for Hire.
So, you play as Ethan Winter. It's going to keep telling me that I can't use the fucking online features, which is going to be really annoying really
Yeah,
fast.
Ethan Hawke.
You play as Ethan Winters. His wife has disappeared 7 years ago. And you just get a message from her telling you that she is at this sort of derelict plantation in the bayou of Louisiana.
She was going to babysit and she disappeared, right?
She's on the Ishimura.
Right. She was on a babysitting
Expedition.
job. She's like a professional nanny, is what she tells
It's
you.
actually Mary Poppins.
Mary
Right, she's
Poppins.
actually Mary Poppins. So, of course, even though her message says "stay away, don't come here if you get this," you go
Come on.
anyways.
Who would stay away? Unless they were not very heavily
So-
invested in their marriage.
It was
Right.
3 years ago. He
Well,
might have moved
so-
on. You never know.
He very clearly has not moved on.
She worked at this nanny job for
It's-
3 years.
It's a horror game.
No, she disappeared 3 years
And he
ago.
had no idea.
She was working at the nanny job, and then she disappeared.
And it's not a
And she's
it's
been
not a horror game without someone obsessed about something
bad
terrible.
decisions.
Right.
Well, you gotta have something to drive them through the series of bad decisions, right?
Right. Yep.
Right. So I'm sort of running because while it'd be a little more atmospheric if I walked, it's also kind of boring. So I don't think I can actually go through the gate at this point.
There's adequate atmosphere, Joe. Don't worry about it. So this is
There's
like
a
the
bunch
hardest
of-
difficulty level that you can play
There's a
on?
bunch of chuckleheads yelling
This
over top
is
of
the
this.
hardest
There's not
diffi-
much
well,
atmosphere.
I think there might be another higher difficulty
Bing
level
bong.
that I haven't opened yet, but
Candy
this
Graham.
is the difficulty level. Land shark. This is the difficulty level that. Oh, I didn't even notice this before. This is the sort of classic difficulty level.
What do you
Sewer gators, not sewer gators.
classic meaning like more
us.
hard than normal, or classic meaning like old games?
Classic meaning like a classic
Okay.
Resident Evil. So like I
Plays
said,
like
the
the
save thing has
early games.
changed.
I just want to say, Blood
Right.
Scroll,
There-
join us. Anyone who's played System Shock 2, that is a very familiar refrain. All the enemies in that game are trying to assimilate you, and they say creepy stuff like that. And they'll,
So apparently parts of this are changed, and I just saw Jack, which
He's
I
in the
don't
regular
remember.
playthrough too. Yes.
Is he? I don't
You
remember
can
seeing
see
him
him
the first
better if
time.
you
Okay.
play in VR, apparently.
Okay.
But
So this-
apparently they didn't account it for people looking around corners, so he just like vanishes as soon as he passes the tree.
creepy. That's
Jack is the evil dad in the game.
Yes, Jack is
So I've
the
been
evil
Joe and I have
dad.
talked about some of this stuff before, but I was very disappointed in the coverage for this game. I have not seen enough mentions of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 as far as being an inspiration for this, but so much of
Really?
this
I did see
game
one.
is so similar, at least in like the basic plot. In the,
Really?
the basic idea of being in this horror house with this evil
Horror
family
swamp.
chases you around.
And then you're making chili and
Yeah, I mean, if fucking Dennis Hopper had
all-
shown up
it's
at
all
some
in the
point
meat.
in this game, which Joe has
The
told me he
meat.
doesn't, which is very disappointing. But
No,
I told Joe
Lefty
that
Unright
like
does
if I bought
not
this game
show up.
and then there was like downloadable fucking Dennis Hopper DLC that was like $20, I would pay for that shit instantly.
if all it was
Yeah,
a
I'd-
scene
I'd
in which
buy
you
the
chainsaw
Lefty
fight with
Unright.
him,
Yeah.
you'd pay like $10.
There is a chainsaw
there,
fight.
like there is
in
there's
this
a literal
game, so-
chainsaw fight.
But I mean with
There's-
Yeah,
Dennis
with Dennis Hopper. You get to be Dennis Hopper.
Right.
You get to
Yeah,
go,
you'd want to be Lefty
uh,
Unright.
squick out a fucking hardware salesman by laying five $100 bills on a tree stump and taking two chainsaws out back and ramming them into a tree stump. And, yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is such a fucking great movie. That's the greatest
I love
jump
Texas
scare in the
Chainsaw
history
Massacre
of horror films. And Chop Top would fit right into this fucking game.
Well, he kind of is. Like the kid is a lot like
Yeah.
Bill Moseley's performance as Chop
But
Top.
I have heard the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series name checked when talking about this game, so I don't know.
So the series, yes, has been name checked. Only one thing I've read actually mentioned Texas Chainsaw 2 specifically, which is
Yeah, this is much more Texas Chainsaw.
as
2
Eric
than-
said, is like
than
very
the first
legit.
one. 'Cause the first,
Well, there's the creepy grandma in this one, which is similar to the creepy grandpa in original.
yeah,
Texas
but there's like
Chainsaw.
isn't there like a creepy comatose person in the second one too? That's like there's like
Is
a creepy
there?
Yeah.
isn't there a creepy
Remember.
old lady that's sitting at the table?
Isn't at the very end? Don't they try and get Dad to?
Right, to kill the guy,
Yeah.
right? Or the girl.
Yeah,
and
the
he
girl.
He can't do it. He's
And he
like,
can't
too
do it because
old.
he's basically.
Oh, that's right. They keep trying to put the knife in his
Yeah.
hand or whatever, and he keeps dropping it. Yeah,
Right.
you're right. You're right.
They do it like
So
way too many times.
right, shit is weird in this game, and apparently the beginning hour demo is totally separate. Like I sort of didn't play the beginning hour demo because I wanted to go into the game totally fresh, but then I found out it's completely different.
Really?
And not related to the actual.
Like I had
game.
it, but then I hauled off because I was like, well, if I just get the game, I'll just play it. But if it's
Oh
different,
yeah, the demo the demo that came out like a long time ago, like back around E3 last
Right.
year, right?
Isn't that in the game?
It was after the PlayStation experience
the
last year.
first one that came out is in the game.
The first one might be, but the beginning hour,
Right,
it's called, that
right, and
is like a
that's
different character.
semi-recent.
Give it like
pre-
2 seconds
right,
from
that-
doing the very first demo if you actually do it. Don't skip it.
So there's a lot of sort of generally weird shit going on
Piano
here.
closed by
And I
itself.
don't think-
Spooky.
Don't play
Yeah.
chopsticks or
So-
heart and soul.
Mary had a little lamb.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Plunk, 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 plunk.
Mozart or get the fuck out.
Just get the
So there's
fuck
a VCR
out.
here. I don't have a
Play a
tape
little
to
Moonlight
use
Sonata and
yet.
a weird blind cave salamander.
I actually
floats into the screen, and
Nice.
then you play some
I actually
weird
was
quiz
sort of
game.
hoping that Moonlight Sonata would
Yeah.
be a thing, like it's just like a throwback. There's actually not many references to OG, the original series in this game, although apparently it is in the same continuity.
Which is weird because they're going back to VHS tapes. When Resident Evil 6 is
Right.
all holograms and bioweapons.
Presumably that would put this before the original Resident Evil then. Were there a lot of VCRs in the original
No.
Resident Evil?
There are no VCRs in the original Resident Evil that I can think of, but there's
I want to
typewriters.
say there's some document in this game that dates it like 2017 or something.
No, it's yeah, maybe 2017.
It's definitely dated after
2016,
the
I
other
was
Resident
gonna
Evil
say.
games.
It's definitely dated.
I mean,
after
this
the
is
other
kind of a
ones, yeah,
house
for
that
sure.
time forgot, and VHS tapes are pretty scary in 2017. Just thinking of watching a
Right.
movie in 4:3 and having to worry about tracking issues and all that kind
That's
of
right.
shit is
Oh.
Fast forwarding in real time.
Oh my
kind
god.
The scariest thing is having a working
Yeah,
CRT.
the first time you put the tape in, it just stops and kicks it back out because it hasn't been rewound.
So apparently,
And then by the time it's
all
done
the
rewinding, the
DLC,
pizza is cold, and
You've already been killed, is what
yeah,
happens.
it's a fucking horror show.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like those. It's like those ones when you have to like real time dig for your inventory shit. Like you have to hold down the rewind button
You have to do that in this.
while they're fucking with you.
Yeah. Yes, this has real-time inventory
So-
management, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
This has real-time inventory management, which can be a pain in the ass.
Yep.
So this is the DLC apparently is in the style of these tapes. So I didn't get it at first. Like the first time I did this and put in the tape, and like I didn't realize that I was supposed to be playing it. Like I just sat there, and then like they're like, "Come on," and I'm like, "Oh, I can control this." I thought I was just like watching a cutscene.
Right.
But there's several tapes that you come across through the course of the game that let you play as other characters and sort of see, and you can affect time. There are some things where like if you do a thing during one of these tapes,
It'll
like
change
unlock a
stuff.
thing or whatever, then when you go back to
Changes
it
things in the game.
not on the tape, then that thing is
And if you
unlocked.
don't, it's not. That's pretty good.
It's like Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, like Chrono Trigger.
Yes,
if you
it's
hit
just like Chrono
LR,
Trigger.
LR, then you can save, or LARA, you can save the creepy dad's mom's legs. It's really,
Right.
It's
Yeah.
really pretty, touching, actually.
Yeah. This is apparently what most of the DLC is so far. It's called, the first DLC is called Banned Tapes, and it's just like several. I guess we find out what happens to this guy that I'm playing as right now, because
He gets killed and
minor
eaten by the
spoilers for what you're
monster.
about to see in like 10 minutes.
I thought the demo was
well,
based on
he
this
gets-
guy.
I think it's the guy that I'm looking at, like the host guy, I think is the demo, but the actual
with
guy
the
holding the
jacket.
camera is not. Yeah, the guy with the jacket. I think he's who you play
I
as in
do
the
like
demo.
they kind of have a small Easter egg thing in this tape. Apparently, there's like 7 locations where you can see a ghost girl,
Mhm.
except it's random for every playthrough.
It's a crossover with Fatal Frame.
So you can either have a playthrough where you see her all 7 times, or a playthrough where you don't see her once. So it's kind of just like a freak out moment. Like if you turn around right now, that would be the second way you see her. She would be hanging above the doorway.
Oh, really?
It's like you can see her in 7 different locations up until you climb down into the basement. And the one climbing down to the basement, she's like standing right over you. You can't miss her.
Is she a character? Is she a ghost or is she a character you meet later in the game?
Possibly.
Because there is like a creepy.
It is
Yeah.
a character you meet later in the game. But
It
like
is,
I said,
That makes
it's
sense.
easy to miss because unless you're specifically looking around, you're probably not going to see it. If you are looking around, you're probably not paying attention to where she is. So it's just something you see in the corner of your eye. Like I think the third one would
Right.
be she'd be right out that window behind the microwave.
I love how the classic Resident Evil trope of a random pot full of offal is just
Right.
always in these
It's a
games.
leitmotif in these
Yeah.
games.
There's rotting guts in this
Right.
in this stock pot.
Yeah, well, this is what I really like about this game, is that it manages to both, like, throw back to old Resident Evil games and feel like a new experience, which is what like, they did enough to
Is
keep
this
it
better than
fresh.
Code Veronica Mercenaries in first person?
Yes.
Okay.
Without question.
How's the first person knifing?
It's fine. You don't use a knife for that long. It's like most Resident Evil games, you're stuck with a knife only towards the beginning. Like the first thing you find is a knife, and you use it for a little while. And there's some spots where, like, probably I'll have to use it more on this playthrough because apparently ammo is more scarce on this difficulty than on the default difficulty. But the thing that has happened with me, I think, in every Resident Evil game since, the first one, because I played that one to death, is that I always end up at the final boss with, like, just way more ammo than I could ever need for, like, every weapon, because I'm, like, super stingy with it.
Early in all those games,
And I end up
you have
using-
to be stingy or you just run out and you're kind of fucked.
But in the back half, you always are
Right,
sitting
but
on
then
25
when I'm-
grenades and like 40 shotgun shells. And
Yeah.
Right, I had a Magnum
And
with a
you
full
keep
clip.
thinking,
Like,
No, this isn't bad enough. I'm gonna need
I was
these.
saying,
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, it's
yeah,
over.
exactly.
Yep.
It's like ending a
Yep.
Final Fantasy game with like 10 mega elixirs. You're like, God damn it.
I used to be like that, but I'm not like that anymore. I just use
Yep.
stuff now.
Yep.
It's just
use
not.
it.
Well, I just, like, I can't help it. It's like obsessive, like it's like
Well,
compulsive with
yeah,
me. Like,
yeah,
I just
it's a behavior that's been like it's a behavior that you've learned from
You've
playing
been
the
trained,
previous games
yeah.
in the series, right? But like I said, just in the last few years, I really finally broken myself of those habits.
well, don't go back and play Persona 3 because that's the kind of game that throws a super hard fight at you 65 hours into the game, and you're like, God damn it! I wish I had those full health items that I used in hour 4.
Yeah. I feel like you can restock on those in that game, right?
No, not all of them. No, there's some that are only like from specific chests, I think.
Chests.
And once they're gone, they're
Full team
gone.
heals and revives or whatever. That guy doesn't look too good.
They killed Tony Hawk.
no. So that there's the
Isn't this the
Doing
demo?
stale fish.
I thought this was how the demo went.
It is the demo. This one tape in particular is
that's the very first demo, but not the beginning.
There's like
hour.
a different demo that came out around E3, right?
Right.
The,
No, that's the one. What I
That's
just did
the
is the
E3
demo.
demo?
That's the first
Okay.
E3 or the PlayStation Experience demo. The beginning hour demo is like you play as the guy in the suit jacket who I left upstairs,
Because he
and
looks like a
you
douche.
find out what happens to him.
So I've seen some of the later stuff in this game featuring the people in that picture you were just looking at, and it looks pretty fucked up.
The Baker family.
It
It takes them, like, I probably won't get there before we end the stream tonight, because that's about, like, you first meet them about an hour in, so I think. Plus, again, this is on a harder difficulty, so I don't know how the first enemy encounters are going to go for me. I might get just, like, destroyed.
But yeah, from what I've watched, this looks like a pretty good, effective horror game. And also, I think I would have just lost my stomach for horror games. Like, I look at this, I don't want to play it at all.
Well,
I want to play it a lot. Like,
did you ever have a stomach for
sure, I used to
it?
play horror
Because, I
games.
mean, weren't
Mike
you...
wrote a really
Couple-
good
couple
Amnesia
Resident
was a
Evils,
thing that you
whole
were
bunch
like-
9
of
series on Silent Hill for
and Silent Hill,
2009
yeah.
or whenever we first launched the website. So
I played through
that's
enough of Eternal Darkness to get the hidden ending. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
Eternal
systems-
Darkness is not like that scary.
not that scary. It's more. It does have one of the best jump scares in video games.
That's the second time this stream we've said that.
Well, the first time it was in movies.
Yes, in movies. Which is the one you're talking about in Eternal Darkness?
It's the bathtub one. I don't
Oh, okay. Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right at the beginning of the game.
No, it's
Yeah.
kind of It's a few hours in.
Is it like
Well,
maybe
you got to play through
so-
the first section.
Yeah,
It's when you're
And then
exploring
shit
the
starts
mansion
going
again
around the
after
mansion.
you've already been
Right.
into one of the books.
I played through 2 hours of that game on stream for Halloween, and I got to it, so it's pretty early in the game.
Right.
But, yeah, I do
Um,
remember what you're talking about.
So this
Bathtubs and
game,
horror games and movies.
Yeah, this game has some jump scares for sure. As you literally probably
Yeah.
just saw. But it also like there is just this sort of omnipresent, especially in the early goings. Like eventually, I read a review that sort of complained that was like, oh, in the back half, like you're too well armed and things aren't as spooky anymore, and like, whatever. But I don't know. I felt like it was fine, but definitely in the first half of this game, there is like this omnipresent sense of dread that you're just like, I don't like, especially because as you're seeing, your field of view is so limited.
Yep.
And you just like, there's just this sense of like something bad could be around any corner, and you're not in a good place to be, especially again in the first half, like to be defending yourself. There's a lot of running away from shit like early on. There's a whole section where you have to run away from the dad because you don't have
You have no means to fight him.
you have
Yeah.
no
He's like invincible,
you
isn't
have
he?
no tools.
I think you can knock him down and
yeah,
then he will,
yes-ish.
disappear and then come at you again a little bit down.
Right, you can knock it. You can incapacitate
He's kind
him.
of, he has a little bit
but
of
he
the
will
nemesis
eventually
from
come
3
back.
in him.
He kind of chumbawumbas on you.
Yeah, yes. He gets knocked down, but then
yeah.
gets back up again. And you'll never keep him
Right.
down.
Seems bad to have a list of names with people with beat. Just saying.
Um,
So here's the first twist: is that you find your wife like immediately, which you
Right.
know. Going in, I was like, "That's going to be the like."
You
the
were
end.
your
You're gonna
dead
find her
wife
and
the whole time.
Whatever.
you pick her
Yeah.
up and carry her out in the middle of
Fucked
the
up.
lake.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it's in this part or later on, because there's like another basement area you go in later.
She should be more
If I
emaciated.
remember right. But I posted this on Twitter. But my favorite thing about this game is the Japanese names of American products that they have laying around the house. And the picture I posted was a picture of detergent named K-Bro.
That should be like some kind of a body spray. Maybe just it's like laundry detergent that smells like Axe. So you just
So this is horror movie mistake number 1, which is like, why don't we just go back the way I just came, get in my car, and get the fuck out of here?
Right.
But no, let's actually go deeper into these
And-
catacombs under this
And
spooky old house.
well, at least they're not doing horror mistake number 2 and they're splitting up.
Right. Oh well, give me like 5
I was gonna
minutes.
say, I bet that happens. Yeah, why don't we go back the
Yeah,
way we came?
so-
Didn't you fall down though?
You fell down a ladder, but the ladder's not like totally disintegrated. If you had the proper gumption to get up that fucking ladder, you would be able to get up it. is all
If you
I'm
had the
saying.
proper gumption, you wouldn't be trapped in this situation.
Well, if you're, yeah. Well, I mean, I had the gumption to come and try to save my wife. I mean,
the
what
forest
the hell,
gumption.
man?
We brought her
Death
box of
and-
chocolates. And
Death
some
is
shrimp.
like a box of chocolates.
Resident Evil game is like a box of chocolates. You never know when a naked dog is going to jump through a glass window and scare the shit out of
Yeah,
you.
you do all the
The answer-
time.
yeah. No, if it was all the time, it would be Dead Space.
That's true. That's very true.
I always thought the Resident Evil did a really good job of setting up its naked dogs jumping through windows, jump scares.
Dude, I still remember the first time I played Resident Evil.
Pretty
And that
good.
dog came through that fucking
1
window,
and 2 was
scared
better.
the shit out of me.
Liquor comes through the double-sided mirror,
Oh yeah.
and
I
Oh yeah, that's
I
a great
still
one.
love when the tyrant smashes through the wall and
yeah,
then you run away from it, and then it smashes through the other wall
yeah,
and it winds up in front of
Yeah.
you twice. I think that's a pretty great twist.
yeah. The first one, I was playing Resident Evil 2 for the first time, and like, that liquor thing happened. I put my controller down and I had to walk away because I was so angry at the game. I was like, I was just fucking in that room. There was nothing in there. That's bullshit. Fucking lied to me.
You sons of bitches.
It was good. Yeah. But I don't really have that sort of visceral reaction to horror games so much anymore. It's been a really long time since I played a game that scared me in a meaningful way. Amnesia had a little bit of that, especially the first time you encounter the monster, like as you go into the basement. But
Yeah.
that game was creepy, but it just doesn't like all the things that video games can do to make you afraid. I've sort of become immune to over the years.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's sort of the same thing with movies. Like when I like, I just sort of like to let myself go. Like,
Yeah.
I could just sit here and not let myself get scared about it because it's not. I mean, I understand that it's not real, but I like to sort of just like let myself get invested and get creeped out by it because that's part of the fun
Right.
for me.
Yeah,
But
whenever
I can't.
I-
That just I can't do that anymore. It just doesn't. They don't affect me in that way so much anymore. But I'm looking
So
forward to trying
there's,
this out.
shit,
since
you
it's,
know.
like the Amnesia and Penumbra games kind of have this low budget sort of thing to them that makes them a little bit. Anatomy creeped me out pretty good last year, but that was more due to the writing. Like it wasn't like gameplay stuff.
I mean, this game, even if it's not, even if your nervousness is just about your like inventory management, and not necessarily about like the actual creepy
That's what
things
Dark
that are in the
Souls
dark,
is for.
it's still, yeah, fair enough. So there are two kinds of sort of collectible things in this game. There's these little bobbleheads that
Are
you
they
can
Doom
break.
Guy bobbleheads?
They're not. They're like little. They actually look
Do you
like
fist
old
bump
school.
any of the bubbleheads?
No, you shoot them. You have to shoot
This is
them to
bullshit.
collect
I
the.
just
So it's
tell you
like
that my
the-
guy did not
the-
fist bump one of the little Doom guys the entire time I played Doom.
You got ripped
No?
off. You should get your
Really,
That
the very
sucks.
first
you
one
should
that
get your
I.
money back.
Unless
I
maybe
got
the
at
first one
least,
found.
I think, 2, maybe 3 of them.
Unless maybe it happens like the first time and I accidentally skipped the animation.
It didn't happen the first time for me because I knew about it and was looking for it, and it didn't happen. So I think it's
The one
I
that
think
it
it's
did it
somewhat
for me,
randomized.
was the one that was just the Doom Guy bobblehead. It wasn't labeled like how they're labeled as various
Yeah.
monsters and things. The
Right.
one that he fist bumped for me was just literally Doom Guy. So I thought that was like
That's the joke, maybe.
but maybe not. Oh man,
I might have missed that one.
But
I
um,
missed
No,
some
so
of
this-
maybe
there are
just be
also
misremembering.
these.
yeah. This game is this year's Doom.
There are
for
also
me,
these coins.
which is like I was not really interested in it at all until the reviews started coming out and
Right.
the buzz
Yeah.
was that it was actually pretty good, and I'm still
And-
not
and
ready to pay for it.
More scary than
Yeah,
actually. Yeah.
But this summer, when it hits like $20 like Doom did, I'm gonna jump all over it and get into it. I'm really looking forward to playing through it.
So I think we're about to get our like other major horror homage here in a second.
I believe
Did you
that's
get stabbed?
One of
footage.
the
in the
Ghoulies
shower?
is gonna come up out of the toilet, just like in Ghoulies 2.
Yeah. That would be
floating
great.
silver orb is going to eviscerate you.
Nice. Right in your
That
right
would
in
be
the
great
forehead.
too, but no.
Boom.
A prostitute is gonna give you a blowjob, and your penis is gonna eat through the back of her skull, right?
Again.
No,
Yes.
What
that-
movie is that for later
Yeah.
reference?
That's brain damage. Brain damage.
Good.
It's not really his penis. It's the
Right.
parasite.
It's a parasite
not
that
his
like
actual
takes
penis.
the place of his penis. Brain damage is a really good movie.
No, but if you're seeing right now, like this, this is very like Evil Dead. Like she looks like she's
The
possessed by the. She looks like a deadite, yeah, and it's very like,
Especially
Um,
the more modern Deadites.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that might just be because she's a CG Deadite instead of a puppet Deadite.
Dead by Dawn.
Right.
Oh, man.
It's also probably the most video game part of the game.
Yeah, the part where you're like grabbing this knife and
That
holding
doesn't
onto
seem
it
wise.
instead. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's better than it going into your
You're gonna
forehead.
get tetanus, man.
It's
probably
the
not
fact
the
that all this happened.
Do you
And
end up if you wait too long, if you don't finish the game fast enough, do you get lockjaw?
No.
Yeah, it's just like
No.
Far Cry 2. You have to take pills to keep yourself from getting tetanus. You have to give yourself a tetanus shot so you don't get lockjaw.
just like other Resident Evil games, you have the magic. In this case, it's not a spray; it's a liquid.
Yeah, you
as
like
just
dump
saw me
some
pour it on my arms.
Just wash your hands off.
iodine on your fingers. Yeah,
You're just stabbed
Yeah.
in the middle of your palm,
Basically.
but just pour water all over it. It's fine.
Yep.
yeah, don't worry about it.
Video games.
It's still a fucking video game.
It's a video game for sure.
Oh shit.
Which is fine.
Yeah. No, it's totally fine. I mean, that's like the OG Resident Evil game for video games. And the Silent Hill games, for the most part, were video games too.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been messing around with PC.
I do like that he says something in this game about like the fucking weird ass like keys
Yeah.
and do this to open the door, and he's just like, who does this? Like,
Our reference is always, this episode is poorly written.
I'd just like to point out that you are attacking your wife with an axe.
I mean, she's a
Yep.
creepy monster.
She
though.
started it.
well, there isn't a
Yeah,
chainsaw.
sometimes you have to take your girlfriend and put her head in a vice and chop her up with a chainsaw. Like,
You don't want to, you just have to.
right. It's not really your wife
So
anymore.
nice that they pull it away right at the last second there just to fuck with you.
But
Hey, look, she looks normal. Ooh, you've killed her.
I've been messing around with
Did I?
PCSX2 quite a bit lately, and I guess even Silent Hill
mentioned
2 kind of works a little bit now. I haven't actually tried that one yet, but
As opposed to the garbage remake that they did.
the garbage remake. There's also a PC version of that game that I had downloaded but had some trouble getting running properly. But
I got that to run.
did you?
Yeah.
I
always
thought
had
the
some
funny
weird
thing
graphical
about
glitches.
the garbage remake was that they fucked up the fog. I'm like, that, like,
You can
that's
see all the way to the edge
of
of the
Resident.
map.
That's all of it, right?
I'm
If the
pretty
fog isn't
interested-
right, the game is fucked.
I want to try that out on PCSX2 because like one of the hardest things for that thing to emulate properly is like skyboxes and fog. So that might be without that, like that game loses a lot of its atmosphere.
That would just make it
Yeah.
more creepy.
I remember the beginning of Silent Hill 2 when you start going in and you're walking through the woods and they fuck with you by playing the stuff just slightly out of sync at
Mhm.
random. It's like, is somebody following me?
It's a very Silent Hill 2 is a very good game.
Yeah, and then you get into town and you get near like the first car and this fucking puppet thing comes sliding out from under it, like locomoting with just its feet. It's so fucked up.
Making those weird crackling noises.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. So creepy.
That's weird. I couldn't get into that game because I thought the first hour and a half was just really repetitive, and it was just like a rehashing of Silent Hill
First
1.
Yeah.
Like
lot
I
of
didn't
that
get to any of
game
the stuff that
is-
people
Sorry,
talk
which
about in
are
that
we
game.
talking about right
A
now?
lot of that game is a
Silent Hill
rehash of the
2?
first game. Like you go to a lot of the
Yeah.
same places, but
Right.
Well, that was like 90% of PlayStation 2 games, aren't they? It's like, here's a
Uh,
PlayStation 1 game, but now it looks better.
I don't know. I guess.
I don't know, I play on enough Silent Hill that every time I hear a air raid siren I get freaked out.
We should,
Where's
'cause
it gonna get
either-
rusty?
Either Pyramid Head's gonna come and chop you up, or somebody's gonna drop a bomb on you. So,
That's right.
yeah, I don't know. Like I was just
Or
like
both
I
at the
said, I've
same
been messing with PCSX2. I played like 2.5 hours of Katamari Damacy,
Oh, so good.
and that game is just like a dopamine dynamo, just like
Bomb
makes
for the
you
soul.
feel good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's still a pretty great thing, and
It's probably like on my top 10 of all time games.
yeah, definitely the
Katamari
easily like
Damacy?
top 5 soundtracks in video games.
Oh yeah,
all
so
time.
good.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that
That's
soundtrack's
easy.
great.
But also just like a really super fun, silly, and easy to grasp mechanic that you couldn't really do in something aside from a video game.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of game that you can just point people at and like almost anyone can figure it out in not too long and then just have a really good time rolling shit up and being goofy.
I want to wad you up into my life.
I do.
So I think this drawer, I missed it when I was in the tape before, but apparently if you go into the tape, you can unlock this drawer with a lockpick that you can find
The
somewhere, I
master of
think.
unlocking
But
unlocks it.
you get an achievement named that, of course.
Because
and
you're
you-
not Jill, so you
I
can't
I also
do
saw that
anything, right?
later in the game there is the same exact shotgun puzzle from Resident Evil 1.
There's this. Well,
It's very similar. And
yeah, it's very similar. but it's like most things in this game. There's a little bit of a twist to it, and it has to do with you want to get the broken shotgun back so you can repair it because it's actually better than the normal. Oops, I forgot to put this fuse in the thing.
There's a really
Fuse
good
thing.
Polygon put out a video where Simone de Roquefort is holding a glass of water while she's watching somebody play this game, and she just dumps it all over herself because she is super susceptible to jump scares. It's a really great, like, 23-minute. I think it's like in the way that a lot of Polygon videos is, it's pretty heavily edited, and so you get like the first hour of the game in about 25 minutes, but there's really some really great reactions to it. Her SEO play videos on Polygon are some of the
Oh
best
my god, the
shit.
battery level thing is
It's the
terrifying.
scariest part of the game.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have done that.
It's video game part 2, isn't it?
You shouldn't have done that like the third time you've done that.
I mean, the whole thing
Oh.
is a video game copy.
It's
Well, this
even
part in
problematic.
particular is... The first time I saw this, I was
You
just
strike me
cracked-
down, and I will just turn into my new form.
Yeah.
The first time I saw this part, I was cracking up just because of the aftermath. It's incredibly dumb.
Yeah, it is really stupid. But it's also very Resident Evil.
Hey,
like
man.
Resident Evil was scary at times, but it
It's also
was
very dumb.
really stupid all the time. So it's like you need to have both of those elements.
I
in
just
order to
love the
make it
fact
a
that-
Resident Evil game.
You can pick up your hand as an inventory item.
Not only can you have to, or you don't get it back later. I don't think.
Can you play through the game with only one hand if you don't pick it up?
I don't think so. I don't know what happened. I just picked it up, so I don't
this
know.
would have been the perfst time to experiment.
It's just
This really would have been the perfect time.
As
to
someone who
search
doesn't
if you
like
don't just
gore,
pick it
this
up.
is just so nasty. This first person spurting a hand the whole time.
Mike, you should watch Evil Dead 2. You'll love it.
I watched Army of Darkness. Does that
All
count?
that too is a perfect movie.
Doesn't mean that I want to see it.
Evil Dead 2 is a perfect movie. It's true. Okay, so now I have a gun
Ho ho ho.
for now.
I guess it's
Not a machine gun.
Okay, fine. You haven't even bandaged your hand, have you? This
Nope. Still a blood
This is
leaking
not
stump.
fine. You're gonna pass out.
Ah,
We just hacked up our
Well,
girlfriend with the chainsaw.
This is the
Does
alternate
that
way to
sound
not have tetanus is
fine?
to just bleed out.
are there any laughing deer heads in this game?
There are no laughing deer heads that I have encountered, unfortunately.
I like the mannequin fake out.
It's maybe my favorite puppet. in
Yeah,
all
apparently
Evil
if
Dead.
you sneak around in here, the mannequins will turn around on
Nice.
their own. Like they'll be facing a different way if you creep around here a little bit. But I haven't really done that to see if it. But apparently I'm told.
They turn into
So
a human woman that you can date, or a human man that you can hang out with and teach kids valuable life lessons.
only if you say the magic words "hocus pocus almagocus," then that happens. Yes. So apparently this fight is a lot harder in Madhouse. So I guess I'm going to
die.
I might die or run out of bullets because apparently that's like you need to be like laying
Or super
headshots
hand
on her
juice.
otherwise.
I like that you don't have a hand. It's just like,
it's poured into the stump.
yeah,
It gets into your bloodstream faster that way.
and it's true.
Okay, so yeah, so you have a lot less health in
Put a
this
nipple on
difficulty
it and
apparently.
just like put it right up your butt. Give yourself a
Jesus
super heal
Christ.
juice enema. It'll get up there faster. It's just like
You're one of those guys, huh?
did you guys see that really great story that was going around about that band that
Man,
was supposed to be playing
regard-
a fundraiser? There was a band that was supposed to be playing a fundraiser. This was a Sean
I-
Elliott retweet, and
Oh God.
and they decided to
Consider
do
the source.
a the performance art project instead of playing music. And so the one guy gave himself a milk enema before the show, and then like the bag broke, and it was just like leaked all over the stage, and then the bathroom was just full of milky human shit. That's like the true horror.
my
That's real
God.
life horror.
That's. I have to say, regardless of what
So-
else, the animation on her face when she's chainsawing the fuck out of you
Pretty good.
is pretty great. Yeah, she looks really satisfied.
So, yeah. So this this mode, as you're now seeing, there are checkpoints and autosaves in the normal difficulty. This difficulty does not have that, so I just got sent back to where I last used the tape recorder. So now I have to go do
Righteous.
like all this bullshit again.
Did you lose your hand again? Or
I have to lose my hand again. Yes.
Nice.
don't pick it up this time.
Yeah.
Just leave it.
See if you can
It's
beat
not
it.
gonna, if it's not gonna stay with you on its own, then fuck it.
So it's gonna
Put
crawl
it
up
underneath
after
the
me and give me
bucket
the
with a
finger.
book on top. That's farewell to arms.
Yep.
Great joke.
Yep.
Can you use the hand as a weapon?
That's a wonderful joke.
That's true. It can be
I have concerns that if I leave the hand, that then like I might be handicapped later on.
I get it.
You can start
Nice
over.
one.
It'll
I
take
get
you,
it.
like 15 minutes to play through this right on your own.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on, Joe. This is important.
Do it
That's
for
true.
the children.
I mean, I'm curious. Just
Hopefully there are no children watching this.
I
Children,
really
if you're
hope
watching
there are
this,
no
go to
children
bed.
watching
Yeah,
this.
it's past
I don't
your
care what
bedtime.
time it
You
is.
have to get up for school tomorrow.
That's right. You
We're
done
on
your
br-
homework?
We're on break.
Are they? Yeah.
Winter
probably.
break.
I mean, I guess the way that your hand gets reattached later doesn't necessitate that you
Actually
would
have it.
have to have it. He's still holding the stump up in front of him, though, without the hand in my inventory. I wonder if I can use the gun without grabbing
have
my
another hand.
first. I know, but
He
Attach,
makes a good point. Come on.
True words were never spoken.
attach the gun to the stump.
Gun stump.
This is how Final Fantasy VII started.
What? Oh, yeah, right. All right.
There are multiple characters with gun hands in that game.
It's true.
Yeah, you stop holding up the stump when you pick up the gun, so
You're
yeah.
fine.
he
Don't
just
worry
kind of
about it.
forgets about it at that point.
I bet that later you, because I think there actually is an achievement the first time you grab your hand. So I bet that it's a thing where like you just get the achievement, but the way you get your hand back, which you guys may or may not see if I can actually manage to beat her without getting totally fucking slaughtered. It kind of, you wouldn't have to pick it up necessarily to get your hand back the way you get
Yeah,
it back.
it's kind of like
So-
magic.
How do you know it's your hand then?
That's also true. May not be your hand. Could be somebody else's
I
hand.
mean, at that point, who's going to be picky, right?
I wouldn't be. That's for sure.
Let's Frankenstein that shit back together.
Okay. Let's try this again.
Shoot her in the face with your gun.
That is some
I,
good
I,
advice.
will- I will. Yeah,
I
thanks.
played a
Mike.
lot of video games.
No, no. Oh, god damn it. I didn't even get a shot off that time.
We haven't caught up yet, but apparently you just die.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Chainsaw dicked you.
Yeah. Alright, I'm going to try this one more time, and if I die again, then we're going to call it a night.
Sounds
so-
good. I saw him.
Well, actually, either way, we're going to call it a night, so. But hopefully I am successful.
This game looks really good.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I guess so. I still haven't played Outlast, but apparently it was like a major influence.
I didn't really care for Outlast that much. You're pretty helpless in that game all the
I thought
time.
Outlast was just okay.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
It had some decent atmosphere at times.
right, but the environment that you're in is kind of really boringly put together. It definitely feels like just a bunch of rooms attached. There's no real sense of like place or space in that game in the way that Resident Evil or Silent Hill has.
Yeah.
Well, that's sort of what Silent Hill
Or
like
Dead
excels
Space.
at, right?
Right.
Or even you know what I think is super underrated is the first two in particular, the first two Resident Evil games scores.
Yeah, the music in this game is really
Like
good.
that's really like tense and atmospheric. Like the theme for the police station in 2 is really great, and I still can't believe that like they switched the score in 1 for the DualShock director's cut, and it's like unlistenable like garbage noise. It's so bad. You guys know what I'm talking
I
about?
don't think I've
The
ever
one
played
that the
that version.
supposedly deaf, the allegedly deaf composer, who turned out wasn't actually deaf and wasn't actually writing his own music
Oh, I
anyways.
did hear about
it was
that
all
guy.
ghostwritten. It's so like if you listen to his Resident Evil score, it's like
It's plausible that he's deaf.
aggressively bad. Yeah, you wouldn't have a hard time believing a deaf guy wrote it, if not for the fact that Beethoven was deaf, I guess. But
I don't know if it was Polygon or
just-
somewhere else, but they had a link to a compilation of all the save room music from the Resident Evil games.
no, it was Retronauts did. Bob Mackey did
that Retronauts?
like a Halloween episode last year that was like. all
No,
the
this
save
is something
room
that I saw
music.
recently. It was a YouTube video, so maybe he copied his idea. I don't
okay.
know, but it was really nice to listen to. Like I like that music.
Well, that music is like more or less the same every there's like slight variations for the first several games, but it's basically like the same tune.
I think that's the version of Resident Evil that I own, but the version that I played was just an OG Resident Evil that I rented a bunch, and then I bought the director's cut for like $15 used like a long time.
Well, so
after
the
that,
first
so-
director's cut
Yeah,
version,
you're talking about the DualShock.
It's only the
version.
greatest hits, the
Yeah.
DualShock
I'm
one.
not sure if
That
that's the
one
I
has
have
the
or not.
shitty
I'm
soundtrack.
tempted to go look at my
I don't think I've ever.
because I don't like the version that I own. I don't think I ever actually played.
I don't think I've ever played the original Resident Evil 1 since Remake came out. Like every time I want to play Resident Evil 1, I just play Remake.
The soundtrack for Remake is fine.
I
but
played,
It's not the same.
I played OG like long box Resident
Yeah,
Evil 1.
That was the version. I rented.
For the video that I made a couple of years, 5 years ago, 6 years ago now. But that version is like really like annoyingly difficult. Like you don't auto aim in that one. Like in the Japanese version you did, but then for the US they had to make it harder, so they took out the auto
It
aim.
was a rental.
Well, yeah, I guess. So you like if there's something off screen, you
Fucking
just
forget
like
it.
are shooting blindly at it. Yeah, forget
Shotgun
about
or
it.
bust, basically.
Right, or even the I feel like I'm missing. There's like another box
To
of
play
bullets
through that
I
version of
didn't
Resident Evil,
grab.
like you have to get good at dodging shit and just avoiding it fights,
Right.
basically.
I mean, that's
That's
really what you should be doing in any version of Resident Evil.
Absolutely, but
There
it's
we
like
go.
necessary.
Yeah, definitely. But I actually played a little bit of DS on my flight this past week, just because I wanted to sort of revisit it because I just played this and I was taking my DS on this trip anyway. And that version is probably like, except for the fact that you have to play it on a DS, would probably otherwise be the best version of the original game. Remake notwithstanding. Just because it does a very good job of making everything pretty accessible. The map is on shit.
She gets smoked
Dude,
again.
she kills you in 2 hits. So it was like she hit me and I tried to use first aid and she just like doubled up on me before I could use the
I
first
feel
aid
like this
juice.
mode actually needs the checkpoints to be fun. This just seems annoying.
Yeah.
So that's Resident Evil 7 Madhouse, and I'm not even to the... So basically, like, you meet the family immediately after this sequence. Once you beat Mia, then you go into the main house, and this is, like, sort of the end of the first chapter for... It's not... This game isn't divided into chapters like 4 and 5 and 6, but this is effectively the end of the first chapter, so we'll call it a night there. But yeah, I like the game a lot. Obviously, I'm playing it a second time. Like, I was going to start a new game on that difficulty anyways, and it just happened to line up that tonight I hadn't started it yet, so we did it for the stream. But I was going to do that anyways, so I'm definitely going to play it again. I'll probably play through it a third time with a guide so I can get all the little knickknacks and shit, because there's a whole bunch of bonus weapons. Apparently you can get a circular saw if you beat this mode in under 6 hours or something. You can just get like an infinite gas circular saw that you can carry around with you.
Gas.
So yeah, so I want to check all that stuff out, because I really, this is like, I mean, time will tell, I guess, but like, I already feel like this is in my upper echelon of Resident Evil games, and I say that as someone who really, really likes Resident Evil games. So
I don't know that that's saying necessarily a lot, because while there's a great
bunch
number
of
of
good
good Resident Evil games, there's a even larger number of total garbage Resident Evil games.
Well, okay, so the batting average isn't
there
high.
is.
Right.
But I mean, even I'm talking about so without hesitation, I would say like it's better than 6, it's better than 0, it's better than.
I mean, this isn't.
Code Veronica, probably. You know, like I would say it's probably even better than 5. But I had to spend more time with it, because I spent a lot of time with 5. So I think it's gonna be part of. But like,
that's apples to oranges, though, or apples to goats. Like those are very different games.
Yeah, they are. But
I'll
anyway,
be interested to play it and see if it breaks into the list of 3 Resident Evil games you should play.
Which are
yeah. What currently is your list of 3 Resident Evil games
2,
you should
4,
and
remake?
and remake, I guess. Yeah, I would say that's probably the 3 Resident Evil games.
I would fight you if you put it on that list, because I didn't like 3.
3 is good, but
I
I don't. It doesn't.
The original trilogy.
3 is better than 1.
Original
because
trilogy
there's a
is
lot of
weird
good
because
quality of life improvements, like OG 1, not remake 1.
yeah, but
I
you
can
don't
say
need to
from
play OG
gameplay,
one when remake
yeah.
and when remake and remake exists.
Right. That's what I would say.
Right.
Remake 2 and 4 are probably those are the 3 Resident Evil games you should play if you're interested in that series.
I wish that I could enjoy Resident Evil 4 the way everyone else seems to. That game didn't really do it for me.
And you should definitely play 5 if you have a friend.
I played 5 all the way
so
through
much
with
fun.
you, Eric.
Yeah, and that was like the 8th time I played through that game, and it's so much
I
fun
played it
to
with
watch.
coffee, and I had a
Yeah.
blast.
I loved it. It was a great co-op action game.
Yeah,
I helped a lot of
I like
people in
5 a
Resident
lot.
Evil 5
Not
by just
really a
going
horror
around with
game.
an infinite rocket launcher.
Yeah.
The best part was just him letting me kick open all the doors.
Yeah.
It was like, no, you need to do this. I do?
Mercenary
you're right, I do.
mode. 5
I do
is
need
so
to do
fucking
this.
good, too.
All right.
Co-op mercenary mode.
All right. So
Maybe that's the third.
I'm gonna go
pillar.
ahead and
Co-op mercenary mode in 5. Anyway,
Nice.
yeah, co-op mercenary mode in 5 is dope. Mercenary mode in 4 and 5 is really dope, just in general. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let's sign off here. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back
Bye.
next Wednesday at the same time. Have a good
Time
night.
Mason, and thank you for playing the game.